So, guys, we're live. So today I actually said I'll be discussing economics, and then I'll be discussing some psychological biases that can actually work with different people at different time. Now, one of the things I know that institutions are made of humans, and these humans, that there are different biases or there are different impulses that actually makes people to take certain decision at certain time. Now, there are many biases. I will just touch like maybe few of them and how they actually relate with cryptocurrency investment and all that. One of the first bias that people actually that actually affects people is the anchoring bias. So this is basically when a person receives information from a source and then maybe they don't verify and they act on that information. So let's say, for example, they says, well, if you buy Bitcoin now, or if you do this, this is how you get it. So people don't even try to put in thinking. People don't try to ask. They don't try to say, okay, let me ask another person, or let me do more research and all that. So that is one of the bias that actually affects people. The another bias is there is this what they call the bandwagon effect. So this is basically what they call group thinking. So let's take for example now. You have in an office. In this office, you have 10 people who went for a board of maybe they went for a meeting, and 9 of them are voting and say, okay, we are voting for this, and maybe one person have a contrary opinion. There is a tendency that one person is going to neglect his own opinion or just be quiet and follow the crowd. So there is this bandwagon effect where people just say, hey, or a best way to explain the bandwagon effect is maybe you went to the market and you saw people running. You won't even bother to ask, why are you running? Why are you guys, what is happening? You won't bother to ask what is happening. You just start running and all that. And then there are many things like confirmation bias. So confirmation bias is when you are looking back and you say, listen, this and this and this. Well, did I not tell you? If you had not done this, you would have not done. You would have not received this kind of result. Then that thing again is all called the hindsight bias. So when people look back and they are saying that if you had done something in the past, this could have been the outcome. And then there are other things that actually happen that people could use to manipulate people and all that. Now, you might be asking, why are we bringing all this kind of studies? Now, there are many people who could have come online and they have had negative experiences, maybe with dealing with internet people. We know our country, Nigeria, and nearly every young man who is on the laptop, everybody takes them to no. Every person that has a laptop is either involved in scams and maybe Yahoo and all that. But I can actually tell you that the internet is a two-edged like it has two sides. It has a positive side, that is you can use it for your own good. Then it has a negative side that can actually be used for the wrong reason. So the issue that the argument that people actually bring up most times is the argument of over guns. So they are saying, does gun kill people? No, guns don't kill people. It is people that actually kill people, and they use maybe such a weapon to actually kill people and all that. So that is some of the bias that can actually happen when it comes to maybe investing in cryptocurrencies. And then maybe today I will not be talking much about maybe cryptocurrency and all that. I will be talking about maybe persons and how to assess people and how to assess different projects and how assessing these different projects actually affects the way investments actually take place. And there are things that I actually caution people that want to come into this space. Listen, the person who planted a tree 5 years ago, you're not going to compare him with the person who planted the tree yesterday. Now, we see something in our world where people, I think few days ago, someone was asking me a certain question. I told the person, I said, it's none of your business. So there are questions that maybe people ask like, how much do you have? What do you have? Those are not very good questions. So I always tell people issues like you want to keep your heart right when it comes to investing in cryptocurrencies. Because you want to look back and say, hey, if I had invested in cryptocurrency at certain time, I would have gotten this. Listen, that time is already past. It's already past. You did maybe you did not have that information. There is no problem about that. Maybe you had the information, maybe you did not know about that. There's no problem about that. What can you do about the past? So you want to be very careful when you come into the space. And there are things we'll be talking about. Um, you want to be very careful of greed. Greed has actually ruined a lot of things. Greed has actually ruined a lot of people. And that's why sometimes I'm very conservative when I dish information to certain persons because I know fully well that people ruin things. And then when you give things to people, just like it's like a gun. When you give a gun to a person, it could be used for something else. So you want to be very careful. Your reason why you want to come into cryptocurrency or why you want to invest like cryptocurrencies, you don't want to be greedy. So you want to take greed away from you. And then another thing again is the issue of patience. If a lady got pregnant today, we already know that there's what we call conception, then there is a period called gestation, and then there's what we call delivery. So these things were not learned in school. They didn't teach us this. They didn't teach us these things in school just for us to actually pass exams. There is the conception period. So when you invest, I don't see where you are pregnant today and you want to give birth today. What is that? That is insanity. So I don't see why someone should only have a negative mindset, whether you're investing in cryptocurrency or you are doing your business or you are doing anything, you just want immediate quick result. What is that? So you want to ensure that patience is a virtue that you actually abide, that you actually possess in this journey. And then you want to be very careful with what we call emotions. You don't want to act on impulses. You don't want to act with pressure. Hey, it's like a lady who gets married and say, listen, I'm getting old. I'm getting old. I want to get married. You don't take time to evaluate things and you are moved by emotions. And then another thing again is laziness. Listen, if you are lazy, I don't want to talk about life in general, but if you are lazy, just forget about cryptocurrency. If you want to go on YouTube and say, what is this thing all about? How can we make money? This and that, you are going to miss it. You don't have to be lazy. You must have the power to actually sit yourself down to be able to study documents. Because now you can see over here we have over 1,500 cryptocurrencies. You're not just going to pick a currency and invest in, or because of money or the other. You want to sit yourself down and then study. You want to study the business prospectus. You want to spend a lot of time. So if you don't have the liquidity of time, I fear that this thing is not for you. And then another thing again that you want to be very careful of in the space is who you listen to. You want to be very, very careful of who you listen to in the space. It's like a Christian. No, let me not bring Christianity into this. Um, let's take for example, if you are a farmer and then you are going to meet a shepherd for advice, that advice is going to ruin you. So you want to meet first, you want to meet practitioners. Secondly, is that you want to meet honest people. And there are no way you can actually know a honest person if you are very, very, very lazy to actually do a lot of research for yourself. It's practically very impossible. So you want to be careful of, you want to trash the issues of greed. You want to trash the issue of impatience. You want to trash the issue of emotions. You want to trash the issue of laziness. You want to trash the issue of who you actually listen to. And then another thing again, you want to understand the issue of seduction and manipulation. I'm not. There is something I know. I believe that people are destroyed when they don't possess knowledge, and people become gullible when they don't possess knowledge. And maybe sometimes you've searched for something online, and then someone came up and said they are going to offer you a book. Just enter in your email. Now the question I ask most times is, why not be honest with me? Why not tell me that if I enter my email address, you're going to send me follow-up messages to keep up with me and then maybe convert me to a client? Why not just be honest with me? That is one aspect. And then another aspect again is when people actually seduce people, manipulate people into saying, listen, get in now or you are going to lose it. Those are manipulation. And then another manipulation is when a person brings a very catchy picture and then tells and maybe roots and say, make such and such amount of money within such and such. How I made $100 million with $100. Someone said, if it is too good to be true, then it is not true. You want to be very, very careful of seduction and manipulation. In fact, I want to talk about seduction and manipulation for a very long time. You cannot be seduced. You cannot be manipulated. Someone will not be able to scam you. First, the greed is not there. It's practically impossible. If you are very patient, if you are not moved by emotions, if you are not lazy, if you know who you listen to. But when you go on the internet, what is the internet? The internet is just like a river. You have sharks, then you have very good fish. Depending on how you go about it, you could get eaten up or you could catch very good fish. So you want to understand psychology, seduction, and then manipulation. You want to know when a person is manipulating you. You want to avoid when you go on YouTube, people say, listen, this particular dish is going to give you 1,000 times your money. You want to be very, very careful. People who tell you that, listen, this is going to give you this times your money. You want to be very, very careful. People who says, how I made this times your money. You want to be very, very careful. People who bring flashy things to you. It's like a girl. Someone wants to seduce a girl. He brings flashy things. And then flashes the things into his eyes. No wonder we have the hymn that says, turn your eyes upon Jesus and the things of earth are going to seem like trash to you. So you want to know how you place your heart so that you don't actually get manipulated. Now you might be asking me, oh Prosper, why are you saying all this and all that? In the cryptocurrency world, it's very, very different from the normal world. Like I showed you yesterday, a cryptocurrency address is not as the same thing as a normal address. And let's be very practical. So cryptocurrencies currently now, they are built in such a way that your errors are not compensated for. Secondly, that the customer or the user is not at heart. Now, what do I mean by that? This is called the BTC address, which is called Bitcoin address. This is LTC, which is called Litecoin address. This is Ethereum, this is Ethereum, and this is called Bitcoin Cash. Now let's just speak Bitcoin. This is a Bitcoin address. Now this is the address. Now it says the address is 3CMML and is alphanumeric numbers and letters. So let's say, for example, now you were to send money to this account, and then you made the mistake. Instead of completing it, maybe you were typing it, and then you made a mistake. Instead of putting 9, you put in 8. So the money is still going to go. Now, when this money goes, what actually happens? You are not going to get the money. But when it's the normal traditional world, if you are sending money from James to Peter, and by mistakenly you transferred money from instead of sending the money to Peter, you sent the money to John, there are procedures that you can actually go through that will actually compensate for such error. When it comes to cryptocurrency, those errors cannot be compensated for. That is one of the that is one of the things you have to put at heart. And then secondly is that with the internet coming, there is this ability for people to be able to hide identity. So someone can actually set up a Facebook account or a social media account, and then use a pseudonym, that is, use a name that is not real, to perpetrate a heart and a particular act or whatsoever, or push a certain particular agenda. And then a person can not only that, a person can actually mask their identity. Now, because every person actually accesses the internet, there's what we call the IP address. And the IP address is what actually identifies each unique user that tells you where they are and all that. So, but there are services that can make a person go around this. The person could be in Nigeria, and then it's displaying before the website or before anybody that is seeking such information that that person is in Ghana. So you want to be very, very careful. And then another thing again that happens is, supposing you were making a transaction online, and someone said that maybe someone set up a website and it says you could buy Bitcoin from this website, and you sent your money to them, and maybe they didn't send you the money. Well, you could go after them. Why? Because maybe you sent the money with your ATM and all that. Now let's turn back again and let's say that is reverse the case. That you're not buying Bitcoin, you already have Bitcoin. Then you want to buy something online. Or maybe you want to invest in a platform. We'll talk about the different investment later. Maybe you want to invest within a certain platform, or you want to convert your Bitcoin to cash. Then maybe you made a mistake, or you paid money to the wrong person. What actually happens? There is no way you are actually going to get your money. Your money is lost. You may complain to the FBI. You may complain to our brothers they call EFCC. You may complain to ICPC. You may complain to all the institutions that are actually fighting corruption. They will see the money there, but they don't know who owns their money. So for now, cryptocurrency is cryptocurrency is like a wide ocean. You could get eaten by sharks, or you could catch very good fish. That is why when people ask me most times, what do I do? The first thing I tell them is knowledge, patience, knowledge, patience, knowledge, patience, knowledge, patience, and knowledge, patience, and all that. And then another thing again is, Cryptocurrency is not a get rich quick scheme. There are people, listen, stop comparing yourself with people. If a person is asking you, this, the answer you should give them is, it's none of your concern. Cryptocurrency is not a get rich quick scheme. Listen, this is the market, for example. This is 380 something billion dollars. I want to show you something. The technology adoption curve. I want to use an image to actually show you, so you understand. So this is my screen, and this is called the technology adoption curve. So every technology that comes up, there is this. It's already known in humans. Humans are very, very comfortable with where they are and what they've been used to. So even though you tell them that, no, this thing, that this technology that is brought can be more useful, can lower cost of business, can, even though you give them all the positive sides, then you are telling them some of the negative, the reasons why they should transition from their existing platform to another platform. They are very, humans are very reluctant to change most times. They're like with the internet coming, there were some companies that we are forced to shut down. Why? Because of what they call the innovation dilemma. So you just have to change with times. That is one of the problems with our school institution, is that the emergence of new trends or technology, the school is not able to keep up with them. That is why the people are being trained with with knowledge that is obsolete. That even when they go to the labor market, and maybe they are employed or maybe they are not employed, they discover that, listen, we spent 4, 5 years, 6 years in school, but we are not properly equipped for the labor market. It's a very, very shocking discovery. So let's talk about the technology and adoption curve. So when technology actually comes up, there are people that are called the skeptics. So at this point, we have the skeptics. Everybody's a skeptic. Almost everybody's a skeptic, except those who actually brought the technology. So everybody's a skeptic. But there are people who don't remain a skeptic. Maybe they are tech savvy. So we call them the innovators. So maybe they have a knowledge of that particular technology. So blockchain and cryptocurrency, for example, there are people who saw, 2009, and they saw this thing. You're like, they're very curious. Maybe they were tech guys or business people. They were like, you were curious. Okay, what could we do with this platform and all that? Then they adopted the technology, maybe either in the investment side of it, or they adopted the technology, maybe implementing it in their daily lives, or maybe in their business. And then we now have the early adopters. You now have the early majority. So the early adopters, they come in after the innovators have actually come in and started working on the stuff. Just like you have cryptocurrency and all that, there were certain things that came up apart from just investing. There were certain businesses that were implementing it. Then maybe some companies were putting these stuff in their supply chain and many other stuffs. Then there were other countries like Dubai, China implementing these stuff maybe in one form of governance or the other. Or there were banks like Barclays banks, SoftBank coming up with possible solutions that can actually help onboard the unbanked, lower the cost of banking. And then there were some insurance companies that were using this stuff for risk assessments and all that. Then you now have the ordinary individuals who are just they're looking for opportunities, like what is the major trend? Okay, I missed the social media era. I missed investing in Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, and all that. What is the next stuff? So you now have the early adopters. So the early adopters, they're the ones, okay, well, we believe in this technology. Let's see where it goes. So you now have the early majority. So the early majority now looks to the early adopters and say, wow, so these people are actually making money, or this thing is actually helping their business. So they adopt it. Then you now have the late majority. And then you have the laggards. Now there is something that happens between the early majority and then the late majority. There is what we call a bubble, and then there is what we call busting. So in cryptocurrency now, there were people who came in and their expectations were actually wrong, and they said, "Well, we want to make the same money the early adopters made," and then their expectations were not granted. And what happened? There was a frustration. So people became frustrated. What is frustration? Frustration is when an expectation is crushed. So when expectation becomes crushed, people become frustrated. So there was frustration. And then people's emotions began to play. Then people started selling off and all that. Now there was something there was something I want to talk about, the issue of debt. So there are people who say, well, I want to be very, very smart enough. I want to borrow money and invest into cryptocurrency. Why? Because I will just make 10x my money, and what the bank is taking is not up to such and such percent. I will make money. Listen, you want to avoid such stuffs. You want to avoid such stuffs. And then you might be saying, Prosper, you've said a lot of things from the technology adoption curve to some of the psychological bias, and then the economics. Let's talk about economics. How certain things play. Now, let's talk about what gives Bitcoin, or what gives something in value. What gives something value? What gives a company value? What gives a particular stock value? Now, there is this debate that is in the economic side of things, that Bitcoin is a store of value. There's another group of people that actually talks about Bitcoin is a utility. Wherever side you want to talk about, it's actually correct, and then at the same time, it's still not correct. Okay, let's come down to Bitcoin, for example. What is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is just a way to move money around from places to places. And then currently, maybe for those of us who are not currently in the space, there are certain issues that have actually been plaguing the cryptocurrency space for a while now. It's why I call the tragedy of the commons. Oh, you know, one of the things I look for, one of the bottlenecks or the pain points in life is the issue of the crowd. So the crowd, how does the crowd actually work? Now there is something I want to tell you about Bitcoin. I told you that Bitcoin is an open source. So Bitcoin being an open source, we actually mean we actually please could you give me a minute? Sorry about that. So Bitcoin is an open source software, like I said before. So Bitcoin being an open source software, there is something that can possibly happen with Bitcoin, with the Bitcoin network that I want to talk about. So the way Bitcoin is actually programmed is that, let's bring something. Let me explain this. You can see this is Bitcoin and this is Bitcoin Cash. Now in the system, there is something called forking. So what happens is that maybe a person is trying, the code is open source. What that means is that anybody can get access to the code, anybody can modify the code and create their own coin. Anybody can contribute to the code, maybe because it's a work in progress. This is not a static software. Just like you have your you have Microsoft Word, you have Microsoft Word 2003, 2007, 2010, 2013, 2000. You get, so there are people who are always working on it. So because the Bitcoin code is an open source code, you could come and create your own. And then another thing again is that you can also contribute to it. Now, but there is something that actually happened. You cannot make any change to the Bitcoin code and still have Bitcoin if two-thirds of the network does not agree to what you are actually doing. So if two-thirds of the network does not actually agree to what you're actually doing, whether what you are trying to bring is very, very good, you are going to have your own coin. So you are going to split from the network. So what actually happened, there were some people in the network that were actually agitating and saying, listen, this Bitcoin that was created by the original founder, it was created so that we could send money from one person to another. But this sending money over the Bitcoin network is becoming slow. Not only is it becoming slow, it's increasingly becoming very expensive. So let's take, for example, now, you want to pay for, maybe you went to a restaurant and what you bought food, and the food cost $15. Now it's going to take something like 1 hour for that transaction. When you initiate the transaction, maybe the person has a Bitcoin wallet, then you initiate the transaction, you want to pay the restaurant lady or whatsoever. It's going to take 1 hour. That is a very, very big problem. When you are paying with fiat, you walk into a restaurant and you have your ATM, you just slide in your ATM and within seconds it's being processed, right? So Bitcoin is lagging behind when it comes to competing with the real world banks and all that. So that is one of the problems. The other problem is that for this $15 that you're actually trying to use to buy food or from the restaurant, it's going to cost you things like $15 to actually as transaction cost. So unlike your normal ATM where they could charge you maybe 1% of what you're actually paying for, Bitcoin is going to charge you $15. So it doesn't matter. Maybe you're sending $15 million, it's still going to charge you $15. So people said, no, this stuff from the economic side of it, this particular stuff is not fit for transactions. So some person says, okay, what causes this problem? They brought in some issues like the block size and all that. And they said, okay, let's make some changes to the network. So, like I told you, there's what we call the tragedy of the commons. So, since two-thirds of the people cannot actually vote and say, okay, let's make a change. So, what happened? Those who made change to the network, they had their own coin. So, they called it Bitcoin Cash. And then, if you go through now, you will see Bitcoin this, Bitcoin this, and all that. And then on that coin again, that's copied the Bitcoin code. You have Litecoin. So Litecoin just copied the Bitcoin code and just made some few changes to it, and it has Litecoin and all that. So there are other cryptocurrencies that also follow suit. Maybe they copy one currency or the other. Okay, so another stuff again that we want to consider is how do you actually um, invest in cryptocurrencies and all that. So tomorrow we'll be talking about different parameters you actually look for when you're actually investing with a cryptocurrency company. What are the specific parameters you look for? So then we'll be talking just economics, we'll be considering things, we'll be considering legal stuffs, we'll be considering the market need, we'll be considering a lot of stuff. So I want to end this video here so I don't take a lot of time. So we've studied some of the psychological stuff and all that. Tomorrow we're just covering the different things that can actually, there are different things that are indicators that something is fishy or something great is about to take place. So guys, do have a very, very good day.